In 2025, prehistoric creatures invade New York City. A time rift has unleashed a tribe of Homo habilis, ancient prehistoric beasts, into the heart of New York City, USA, igniting a chaotic conflict between two worlds. With primitive power, the invading horde quickly rampages across Manhattan, easily overpowering the city's armed forces and modern weaponry. As night falls, the city is left in ruins and panic. Let's see how the terrifying truth unfolds. The air above New York tears open with a sound like stone breaking under pressure. A low, grinding roar that rumbles through the bones of skyscrapers, shattering windows in a shower of crystal and sending pigeons spiraling into the chaos. While the scent of ozone mingles with the city's usual stench of exhaust and street food, making every breath feel. From the rift bursts a tribe of Homo habilis, their bodies covered in coarse, matted hair that glistens with sweat, and something darker, their eyes fierce and confused as they blink against neon lights that burn brighter than any sun, their muscles bunching like coiled springs as they tumble into a world that reeks of metal and fear. They crash onto the concrete of Times Square, as if spat out by time itself, their knees buckling under the impact, stone tools clattering from their grasp, and skittering across the pavement toward a group of tourists, whose phones clatter to the ground in unison, screens cracking like ice under a boot. Tourists scatter, phones fall, and the noise of the city collides with the growls of another age. The honk of a taxi mixing with a guttural cry from a Homo habilis warrior, the jingle of a street vendor's cart, drowning out the snap of a primitive jaw, and the hum of electric signs, warring with the rustle of prehistoric fur. Behind the tribe, a mammoth pushes through the light, its tusks wide as subway arches and curved like ancient scimitars, each one glinting with a sheen that catches the flash of police car lights. Its trunk snorting clouds of steam that fog the air and make the creature seem like a ghost risen from the Pleistocene. Screams echo off glass towers, while taxis slam their brakes and horns never stop. A symphony of terror where a woman's shriek harmonizes with the squeal of rubber on asphalt, and a child's wail blends with the blare of a cab horn stuck in a never-ending blast. A saber-toothed tiger lands on a yellow cab, its claws sinking into metal like it was bark, leaving deep gashes that expose the wiring beneath, its hind legs coiling as it balances on the roof, tail flicking with predatory focus, while the driver scrambles out the door, tripping over his own feet in a desperate bid to flee. Its roar silences 1,000 voices, and then chaos doubles. People who'd frozen in shock now bolt in every direction, knocking over hot dog stands and news racks, while the Homo habilis, emboldened by the sound, grip their tools tighter and begin to advance, their movements part animal, part human, all danger. The Homo habilis clutch stone tools, knuckles tight, snarling like wolves in a steel jungle, their lips curled back to reveal yellow teeth, their chests heaving with ragged breaths, and their eyes scanning the crowd for threats, for food, for any sign of what this strange new world might hold. One swings a crude axe at a traffic light. Sparks rain across the asphalt like a fireworks display gone wrong, some landing on a homeless man's blanket and igniting a small flame that he stamps out with a yelp, while the light flickers and then goes dark, leaving the intersection in shadow. Police rush in, weapons drawn, sirens flashing red across mammoth hide, turning the creature's gray fur into a canvas of strobing color, its ears twitching at the noise as it lifts its trunk and lets out a trumpeting sound that shakes the windows of a nearby Starbucks. The mammoth charges and cars scatter like toys, glass raining onto sidewalks where a street performer's guitar lies crushed under a tire, his hat full of dollar bills now soaking up gates from a punctured tank, while a mother shields her baby's eyes from the carnage. A subway vent hisses steam, and the tiger disappears into the cloud, then pounces from the haze, its claws sinking into a police officer's shoulder as he fires a shot that goes wild, hitting a street lamp that sways and then crashes down, blocking the path of a fleeing couple. People run, but the tribe advances, confused, desperate, half human and half beast. One male grabbing a teenager's hoodie and yanking it off, sniffing at the fabric with a look of puzzlement, while a female picks up a discarded soda can and crushes it in her fists, sending sugary liquid streaming down her arm. Helicopters circle, blades chopping the night air, lights chasing shadows of prehistoric creatures, illuminating a giant wolf that lopes across the roof of a duane reed, its paws leaving prints in the gravel, while a Homo habilis child points upward, mouth open in wonder at the flying machines. A Homo habilis woman raises her hands toward the sky as if summoning the moon that no longer shines here. Her fingers splayed, her head tilted back, and a low keening sound rising from her throat that mingles with the helicopter's roar, while a nearby businessman films her with shaky hands, tears streaming down his face. A spear of sharpened bone flies upward, missing the rotor by inches, leaving the city breathless, the projectile spinning past the helicopter's blade and embedding itself in the side of a billboard, advertising a new movie, the tip protruding from the face of a smiling actor, while the pilot swears and banks hard to avoid a second throw. On Broadway, billboards collapse as mammoths trample their glowing bones into dust, the neon signs for Hamilton and Wicked flickering and then going dark as the creature's hooves pound the metal frames, sending shards of plastic and glass raining down on the marquees below. The tribe howls, voices roar, mixing with sirens in a chorus of terror, their cries rising and falling like a storm, some high-pitched and shrill, others deep and guttural, all blending with the wail of emergency vehicles to create a sound that feels like the end of the world. A child of the tribe clings to its mother, eyes wide at towers taller than any mountain, its small hand fisted in her matted hair, its mouth hanging open as it stares up at the Empire State Building, which glows like a beacon in the night, while the mother strokes its head, her own eyes darting nervous. The smell of gunpowder joins the reek of sweat, fur, and wild blood, hanging in the air like a thick fog that clings to clothes and hair, making every breath taste metallic, while a paramedic kneels over a wounded officer, his gloved hands stained crimson as he applies pressure to a deep gash. SWAT lines form barricades, but stone hammers smash windshields and shields, the Homo habilis swinging their weapons with surprising strength, one breaking through a police riot shield and sending the officer behind it, sprawling, while another shatters the window of a SWAT van, reaching in and grabbing a radio that crackles with static. New Yorkers filmed through tears, unable to look away from living fossils destroying their streets. Some hiding behind dumpsters, others perched on fire escapes, all of them documenting the horror with their phones, their fingers trembling as they hit record, while a news helicopter hovers above, its camera capturing every gory detail. The tiger hunts an officer down an alley, teeth flashing with ancient hunger, the man's boots slamming against the pavement as he runs, his radio squawking for backup that won't come in time, while the tiger's growls echo off the brick walls, growing louder with each passing second. A roar answers from above, another beast unseen until it leaps from the rift, a giant wolf, its fur black as pitch, its fangs as long as knives, landing on the roof of a pizza parlor and sending tiles crashing down onto the street below, where a delivery bike lies toppled, its warm pies spilling onto the concrete. A pack of giant wolves land among taxis, shattering glass like snow, their paws crushing hoods and roofs, their jaws snapping at tires that they tear into with ease, while one wolf leaps onto a taxi's hood and stares into the driver's window, its yellow eyes locking with the man's terrified gaze. Shadows of creatures long dead stretch across neon and chrome, painting the city primeval, the silhouette of a mammoth stretching across a Coca-Cola billboard, the shadow of a saber-toothed tiger covering a row of iPhones in a store window, the outline of a Homo habilis warrior overlapping with a man in a business suit. Times Square turns into a hunting ground, lights blinking like dying stars, the red and green of traffic signals flickering on and off, the neon signs of chain stores dimming and then flaring, the flash of police car lights becoming sparser as officers fall back, while the creatures prowl with increasing confidence. The Homo habilis leader steps forward, chest marked with ash, eyes searching for dominance, his frame taller than the others, his muscles thicker, his jaw set in a determined line as he surveys the chaos, his hand resting on the hilt of a stone dagger that glints in the dim light. He raises a rock high above his head and the tribe pounds the ground in rhythm, their feet slamming against the concrete in a steady, thunderous beat that makes the pavement vibrate, while the leader lets out a roar that the others echo, their voices growing louder and more unified with each passing second. Skyscrapers tremble not from earthquakes, but from the sound of ancient war drums, the beat of the tribe's feet resonating through the steel and glass, making chandeliers sway in penthouses high above, while a janitor on the 50th floor of the Chrysler building pauses his mop frozen mid-swipe as he feels the vibration. A helicopter missile streaks toward the mammoth herd, fire chasing fur, the projectile leaving a trail of smoke as it hurtles toward the creatures, who snort and trumpet, unaware of the danger, until the explosion sends one mammoth stumbling backward. Its hide singed, but its spirit unbroken. The blast shakes windows for 10 blocks, but the beasts keep coming, their eyes filled with rage now, their trunks swinging, their tusks lowering as they charge toward the source of the attack, while debris rains down on the street, hitting cars and people alike with a relentless patter. Smoke and fire wrap the herd in a storm of modern weapons against ancient flesh, the air thick with the acrid smell of gunpowder and burning hair, the sound of gunfire mixing with the creature's trumpets, while a soldier on a rooftop reloads his rifle, his hands shaking as he aims at a mammoth's head. The tribe roars back, voices carried like thunder through the canyon of buildings, their cries bouncing off the skyscrapers and amplifying, becoming a wave of sound that drowns out the gunfire, while they rush forward, their stone tools held high, their faces set in expressions of fury and defiance. A Homo habilis grabs a fire hydrant, teeth bared at water bursting into the air, the creature's fingers wrapping around the metal, its strength enough to twist the valve further, sending a geyser shooting upward that soaks the tribe members nearby, who laugh and whoop, mistaking the spray for rain. Children laugh in madness as spray soaks their fur, believing rain had returned, their small hands reaching up to catch the water, their faces breaking into grins that seem out of place amid the horror, while their mothers watch, half amused, half alarmed, their attention divided between the joy of their young and the danger around them. But a tiger cuts them off, paws slicing red into the chaos, leaping into the group of children, its jaws clamping down on a small Homo habilis boy before anyone can react, while the mother screams and lunges forward with a stone axe, only to be swatted aside by the tiger's powerful paw. A police car flips under the weight of a charging beast, siren wailing upside down, the vehicle lifting off the ground as a mammoth slams into it, spinning through the air and crashing onto its roof, the siren continuing to blare in a distorted, mournful tone that cuts through the noise of the crowd. The city gasps as the Hudson churns with movement, shapes from the rift diving deep, dark forms breaking the surface, their scales glinting in the moonlight, while ferry passengers scream and cling to the rails, watching as something huge and reptilian circles the boat, its fins cutting through the water. Crocodiles longer than buses surface, jaws snapping at ferry boats, their teeth as long as swords, their eyes cold and calculating as they ram the sides of the vessels, which rock and creak under the impact, while passengers scramble for life jackets, their screams mixing with the croc's hisses. Bridges groan under the stampede of creatures spilling further into Manhattan. The cables vibrating, the concrete cracking in places as mammoths and wolves and Homo habilis race across, leave their weight too much for the structure to bear, while a family in a minivan stalls in the middle, the father honking uselessly as a giant. The mayor calls for evacuation, but subways flood with people and predators alike, platforms packed with screaming commuters, some trying to onto trains that are already overflowing, others cowering in corners as a pack of wolves pads down the tracks, their eyes reflecting the glow of the overhead lights. Soldiers deploy on rooftops, rifles aimed at shadows that leap across lights, their fingers tight on triggers, their breaths shallow as they scan the darkness for movement, while one soldier spots a Homo habilis climbing a fire escape, its stone knife glinting, and he whispers a prayer before pulling the trigger. A Homo habilis warrior climbs a fire escape, stone knife gleaming against glass towers, his bare feet gripping the metal rungs, his muscles straining as he ascends, his eyes fixed on a helicopter hovering above, while a sniper on the roof takes aim, his scope trained on the creature's back. His reflection merges with skyscraper steel, a ghost of 2 million years colliding with now, his hairy form overlapping with the building's sleek lines in a store window below, creating a surreal image that of a tumbling hand, knowing he's documenting a moment that will never be repeated. He leaps across the gap, landing with feral grace that defies bullets, sailing through the air and hitting the next building's fire escape with a thud, rolling to absorb the impact before springing to his feet, while the sniper curses and adjusts his aim, missing again as the creature disappears around a corner. On Wall Street, bulls of flesh join the bull of bronze, horns goring the air, two giant prehistoric bovines, their coats shaggy, their horns curved and sharp, standing beside the iconic statue, their hooves pawing at the pavement as they let out low, rumbling bellows that shake the nearby stock exchange. The city that never sleeps becomes the city that cannot wake from nightmare. Streets emptying of all but the dead and the dying. Stores ransacked. Fires burning unchecked. While those who remain hide in basements and closets, their eyes wide, their ears straining for any sign that the horror has passed. Blood streaks the pavement, but the tribe pushes forward, unstoppable as time itself, their numbers seeming to grow with each passing minute, their resolve hardening as they adapt to this new world, their stone tools proving surprisingly effective against modern weapons, while the bodies of soldiers and police litter their path. Scientists arrive in armored vans, shouting theories drowned by roars and screams, men and women in lab coats leaning out the windows, pointing at the rift and scribbling notes, their voices rising in excitement and fear as they try to make sense of the impossible, while a Homo habilis throws a rock that shatters their windshield. Reporters broadcast live as creatures tear cables and cameras with primitive rage. A news anchor standing on a rooftop, her hair blowing in the wind, her voice steady despite the chaos around her, until a giant wolf leaps onto the roof, and she flees, the camera falling and continuing to record as the beast crushes it underfoot. The world watches as history collapses onto modern streets. No border between past and present. TV screens in Tokyo and Paris and Rio, showing the same images. Mammoths in Times Square. Homo habilis fighting police, saber-toothed tigers on Fifth Avenue, while people everywhere stare in disbelief, wondering if their cities will be next. A woman cries out on a rooftop, clutching a child while a mammoth shadow rises over her, the creature's silhouette stretching across the roof, its trunk swinging as it approaches, while the woman presses her child against her chest, whispering a prayer, her eyes squeezed shut as the shadow grows larger. Soldiers fire again, flames pouring, yet the beast endures if immune to time and fear. Bullets bouncing off mammoth hide, fire barely singing wolf-for, while the creatures keep coming, their eyes filled with a primal fury that seems to make them invincible, their roars drowning out the sound of gunfire. The tribe begins to chant, rhythm of survival echoing against skyscraper glass, their voices rising and falling in an ancient melody, their feet stomping in time, their hands clapping stone tools against their thighs, while the windows of nearby buildings vibrate, some cracking under the force of the sound. Their voices shake windows more than explosions ever could, the chant growing louder, more powerful, as if the very air is carrying their resolve, while a group of trapped office workers on the 20th floor huddle together, listening in awe and terror, wondering if this is how the world ends. The city seems to kneel under their defiance, as though New York itself remembers an older law. Streets falling silent for a moment, as if holding its breath, while the wind dies down, and even the creatures pause, as if sensing a shift in the balance, a recognition of something ancient and unyielding. Night deepens and the rift glows brighter, promising more shadows yet to come. The tear in the sky pulsing with a golden light that spills onto the streets, illuminating the faces of the Homo habilis, who look up with a mix of reverence and hunger, while the rift widens, hinting at even larger, more terrifying creatures waiting beyond. And in the silence between sirens and screams, the question rises, what world will dawn when morning comes? A world where prehistoric beasts and modern humans coexist, or a world where one has destroyed the other.
Thank you for joining Homo habilis History Hub on this journey. If you found this story meaningful, please support us by liking and sharing the video. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to continue exploring the grand chapters of human history with us. Goodbye, and we'll see you on the next journey through time.